organization was going through a lot of transformation. The founder member had just passed away.
Do you need a mic to hear her?
You can hear me. I can see you from this. There was another head of the organization who was also one of the founder members, and the organization, there are two organizations. One is the development organization and one is the business organization. So there is a lot of talk about hybrid models, and I think this is a classic example of a hybrid model, both for not for profit but two complete different focuses, but which are complementary to each other: the development organization and the business organization. So I joined the development organization. It had a CEO, and the business organization also had a CEO, and both the CEOs had, so to say, very specific competencies. The business organization CEO came from a management and a craft background, and the development organization CEO obviously came from a development background. So that's when I joined in as a management trainee with the little management background myself in development studies. And then gradually, in the course of 10 years, I have seen the organization transform from just a kind of a NGO to have better systems, better management systems, better processes, as someone was saying, and a lot of things which are now systematic. And when some of you will join the organization for the internship, you will understand how the organizations which have come earlier, or some of the grassroots organizations, or even Ramakrishna Mission, and how SASHA they differ in many of the aspects. So it was set up as Sarva Shanti Ayod. So the founder, again, a lady, Subhashini Kohli, she was extremely passionate. She was extremely passionate about working for the society. And she was at 18. I mean, I only heard of her because I've never had the opportunity to meet her. At 18, she was already working for orphans to be put adopted into families. She was at 18 years of age. And then she joined Oxfam. She was in Bangladesh just during the Bangladesh Civil War, and she happened to be engaged with refugees coming into Bengal, and that's how it started. She wanted to do something for the women who came as refugees and were all set up in the outskirts of Calcutta. And that's how it triggered off in her mind that there needs to be something done for the women who came as refugees. And when she went exploring all these refugee camps, she saw that all women were doing embroidery in their free time. And it was astounding for her that women coming from that kind of a background, you've just lost your home, you have lost your family members, you've gone through so much of physical and psychological torment, and yet in their time they were doing exquisite embroidery. It's a typical embroidery called Kantha, which is prevalent in Bangladesh and Bengal and also Bihar. And she thought that this is something which can give women at least some support in these troubled times. So she brought together people, her friends and everyone, and she decided that their products had to be sold to people who would want to buy them. So she had friends abroad through Oxfam, and she told them that if you could help us sell some products. And they managed to sell some embroidered shawls and embroidered bed covers, and people liked them. In US and I think UK and US were the first countries which they were sold, and people started demanding it. So she decided that it can't be in an ad hoc manner, and she set up this organization. And like in the case of Jaipur food, the people who came together were very interesting. There was one founding member gentleman who was at that time an export, he was heading an export department in a reputed MNC. So he came with his exporting background, and there were other people who were artists, activists, and journalists who came together and formed this organization in 1978. The whole idea was to empower artisans, and the only way they thought they could empower artisans is to have a market-led intervention, where they will help create products which will sell in the market, rather than the khadi model, which was the government model, which was prevalent then, that everyone should keep producing, and it all got stacked up in government godowns, all the khadi and all the handmade products. So this is how the evolution happened. It was established in Kolkata, and the pressing need to work closely with the skilled artisans. And in the process of establishing itself, Sarvashanti Ayog and SASHA have also managed to establish almost 30 independent artisanal groups across India. And it was a very intentional decision. It was a very thoughtfully decided fact that SASHA as an organization will never produce anything. It will be the independent organizations that will be producing. So everyone will work on a complementary attribute and complementary manner. SASHA will market, Sarvashanti Ayog will build capacity, and producers will produce. So each one had their role cut out. And it was, the whole thing was thought out in a very holistic manner, that it will not be only livelihood or income generation. It will also be about improving the quality of lives of the artisans. So in the early years, it was Sarvashanti Ayog which was doing both business as well as the capacity building. So accessing markets both international and national. As a matter of fact, the organization started with export, and so over the years it has built a really credible position in terms of export. And then there was also about reviving the dying arts and skills. Kantha would have died because there was so much of socio-economic problem at that time in the 70s. There was Shantiniketan leather, there was Pottochitro, there were the bowls with their musical instruments. So initially, it just came along that you were providing livelihood support to the artisans, but you also needed to revive these dying arts. And then artisans need to be motivated and created to work on new designs, because it was a novelty for them to have an Italian designer sitting in the queue and working. And that is what happened. I don't know how many of you have gone to Shantiniketan yet. Been Shantiniketan. So you must have been to Amar Kuti. So Amar Kuti was revived in a sense by SASHA, because it had closed down in the early 70s. And Sujata Goswami, who was then the secretary, came to Calcutta and requested the founder member that Amar Kuti needs to be revived. And initial support for the next 30 years, SASHA worked very closely in terms of design, in terms of technical support, market access, and there it is now. And it really gives us a lot of pride to see what Amar Kuti is doing right now there. SASHA has a retail store on Peaceful Street near New Market. I don't know how many have been able to go there, but New Market is something everyone goes. It's just off Park Street. So we have a retail store. It opened more than 3 decades ago. And Calcutta didn't have any craft retail store at that point. Delhi still had Fab India. Bombay still had contemporary crafts. But in Calcutta there was no concept of a craft store. So in 1982, it was a kind of an innovation to have a store completely dedicated to handicrafts and handloom, and where artisans themselves would come and market their products. And we were already doing exhibitions in the country and also international exhibitions. So how this hybrid model came in. So the seed was always within. Within a few years of setting up the organization, in the early 80s itself, the founders and the board members and people who were very close to the organization realized that capacity building, development activity and business had to have separate focuses. And they all decided to restructure the organization, and then another organization was formed which was called SASHA, Association for Craft Producers, and which is much more popularly known as SASHA. And it was also thought that you cannot have a craft store called Sarvashanti IO. So SASHA, you see, is an acronym of Sarvashanti IO. So I don't know. I would have found it very strange to have a craft store called Sarvashanti IO. So SASHA came much earlier than the organization. The shop was named SASHA, and then the organization came. So by the middle days, we had two separate organizations, having separate focuses, having separate boards, but were interlinked, were joined with an umbilical cord, of course. So there was always a parallel vision and process to translate actions. Once it got just after the inception. So initially it was decided that we'll only work with grassroots organization in terms of NGOs. But early 90s, when the economy opened up and there were much more ease within the government, a lot of departments came up which were ready to cooperate with small enterprises. The organization also decided to start working with entrepreneurs, grassroots entrepreneurs. So now we work, a lot of work is generated through grassroots entrepreneurs. But these entrepreneurs are not just businessmen. They have inculcated the fair trade model, the fair trade business model, and you can call them grassroots social businesses. So we work with almost 40 to 45 grassroots social businesses. And the organization every decade went through restructuring, refocusing. So every decade, if you go through organization, collectives were formed. So there was a textile collective formed, which is called the Textile Artisans Association, where all the textile producers in the supply chain were. It was a collective of all the textile producers in the supply chain, the weavers and the printers and the tailors and the embroiders. It was mainly done to bring them together and create certain economies of scales. Otherwise, working in isolation, it would have been very difficult, especially if you are working in an export market or if you are if you are getting into retail. Very systematic, organized supply chain is something which is required. So that was done. Then a trust was set up for non-craft products, food and body care. A company was formed for craft producers, which unfortunately had to be closed down because it was not sustainable. In the early, around 2006, in fact, a joint venture came up with an Italian fair trade organization called SASHA Ultimacato. And the idea was to jointly work with Italian designers and Indian designers, come up with products which could be marketed both in Europe and India. So that was a high-end product line. So a lot of new things were tried out in the organization, and a lot of time was also invested, but some worked, some didn't work. So gradually, by 2004, a model kind of emerged where there were two separate organizations, each having their own distinct identities, where Sarvashanti IO was not limited to working with the producer network of SASHA, but opened out much more out to working with smaller NGOs and other organizations, similar organizations, sharing with them the expertise and knowledge which was gathered in these 30 years. So now Shanti Ayog is really looking out, as Professor Mitra was saying in the morning, that it's about giving out. You are not trying to replicate your own model, but you're sharing your knowledge and experience and expertise which you've gathered over the years and sharing them with other organizations on a need basis, wherever there is a need. So this is the organization looks like now. So you have Shanti Ayog, which is a capacity building organization. We have SASHA, which is the business and market. And you have the supply chain and the production. So right now, with export and the domestic, SASHA is engaged with almost 100 producer organizations. It's roughly directly impacting 10,000 artisans every year. And there was a Harvard University program where they were trying to understand NGO models in India, especially Eastern India. And I worked with them for 6 months, and we calculated that almost in the last 15 years we have impacted 1 million or more individual artisans through various interventions. This is how I've kind of listed out how we have been responsive to change. We developed an institutionalized capacity building program in 2004. As I said, that as some of you were saying, that systems, how do we identify a project, how do we do scoping, how do we map, and how do we understand needs, what will be the project implementation process. So all of it was put into another system, and this never happened before 2004. And this is the time when Ford Foundation came forward and supported us, and they found it very innovative, and they came and supported us, and they have supported us for almost 10 years, almost a decade subsequently, in institutionalizing this and scaling up. Then SASHA really has a global presence in the fair trade movement. It has almost 85 customers in 26 countries across the globe. Most of the developing countries, it has customers. As we said, that we've worked very closely in developing grassroots social enterprises. So we work with almost 100 organizations which themselves are grassroots social enterprises, and we continue to work with them. SASHA operates in the multi-tiered marketplace. It is into exports, retail, wholesale, on e-commerce platforms. We do local exhibitions. We participate in exhibitions. We also we customize the microfinance model into our own micro-enterprise financing model, where the microfinance model actually is aimed at individuals. The micro-enterprise model which we customized, we work very closely with Ahmedabad-based organization called Indian School of Microfinance for Women and the Friends of Women's World Banking to develop this customized model, where we studied what is the working capital requirement for the small enterprises, and it's a model where we provide working capital support for business and also long-term infrastructure support. And till date, I think we have supported almost 45 micro enterprises. We also have included in our program financial and education and inclusion, which now all the nationalized banks also have this program since last 5 years. Then we also work towards appropriate technology. We work with IITs, we work with NABARD and SIDBI to bring in appropriate technology in the grassroots, whether it's in Vishnupur and Meekna, improved furnaces, or in the printing units, or with the weavers. We work very closely with Jadavpur University in Calcutta. We had an MOU for 10 years with them on technical support. Then we also were strengthening the South-South dialogue. So fair trade was mostly concentrated in North and South. the southern countries were the producers, the global south and the global north. And the northern countries were mostly the consumers. But we started a south-south trade interactions, where we were importing products from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from Sri Lanka, from Indonesia, from Vietnam, from Ghana, Rwanda, Kenya. And they were also importing our products in their country. Then we also were involved in exchange of knowledge and exchange of people through various international programs. There's a Fredskorpe program. Fredskorpe Norway, it's an organization, it's a non-profit, and they have a wonderful program where they encourage exchange of people between countries. So someone from Sweden can stay and work in, say, Bangladesh. Someone from India can go and work in, say, Peru. So it's a wonderful international program, and we will partner with them for almost 10 years. And then we also, I think SASHA was one of the few organizations which had its website way back in 1992. So I was looking through the website, old website, and I found it very obsolete. Of course, in 1992, the kind of technology used was absolutely something which is obsolete now. So one of the very few organizations which actually had websites. So when we asked one of the funders to support us for a website, and they were surprised that why does an NGO need a website? Because most of the funding and grant-making organizations had websites. So this is the governance and the legal structure. So both organizations are non-profit. This was an idea which was almost 30 years ago. Ever since, I think a lot of legality of non-profits and for-profits have changed, and in fact SASHA is thinking of remodeling its legal structure because of the current government norms.
The question?
Yeah.
There's Fab India, which is there in the similar kind of space where they procure from artisans and try to sell it at retail stores. They have a profit-based model. So do you think that is better because that allows them to scale up larger and effectively have a larger impact?
I can comment on worse or better, but that's a model where you can scale up. You can have investors, you can attract funds, and you can always scale up. So that was, the model was created to scale up. And if you see, Fab India scaled up only in the last decade. So till last decade, I don't know, 20 years back, I have never heard of Fab India. Of course I come from a small town, but still, Calcutta didn't have a Fab India till 10 years ago. So the model was created specifically for that idea. In fact, if you have heard of Industry Foundation. Industry Foundation is a organization based in Bangalore, and they created this model, and they wanted to do an Amul kind of thing for craft sector. So they approached Pantaloon for partnering with them for retail distribution, and within 5 years they almost had 40 stores across the country, mostly in metro cities. But within the next 2 years they had to wind up. So it's a model. It's a model. If it works, it's good. If it doesn't work,
Sorry, I don't want to comment on each of that, but your model was to impact the lives of as many artisans as possible.
Not
we
open
heard that
retail
Harvard
shops.
and the study showed that 1 million artisans have actually
In the last 15
benefited.
years. So
So
the
it's
idea
million
was not
plus.
to open retail shops, many more retail shops.
It's the objective. The objective is not branding or just scaling. Scaling here is a smaller proposition rather than impacting the lives of artisans and keep dying crafts alive. And SASHA is known across the world. We are looking at Fab India, which is a very national presence. think we don't have much time.
Yeah.
Left to-
So, as I said that when we think about expanding the scope, we want we're talking about deepening the impact at one level, and then a kind of a horizontal impact where you are engaging with many more organizations like yourself and sharing that. So at one level, SASHA has become a marketing platform for so many like-minded organizations who want to market in a particular way, who want to build a business model in the ethical business model or based on fair trade principles. So it has become a marketing platform for those. And with SSA is now scaling up or expanding its scope in sharing the expertise and knowledge of 4 decades with organizations who have the similar kind of a vision and mission. So these are the areas where we really brought so-called management practices and processes at the grassroots level. There was a fair support project where we actually got management consultants to work with smaller grassroots enterprises to bring them the best of management, introduce them to best of management practices. Micro enterprise finance, technology, then ICT enabled database and supply management systems, technical assistance. We support organizations with international quality certifications. We support an organization, a food processing unit which is SASHA. So there is, I mean, you have to really be convinced and identify what kind of certification you want to. So I talked about scaling up. So as a business, the primary purpose was common good, but the organization always wanted to use the methods and disciplines of business and the power of marketplace to do that social work. So if Jaipur Food had a mission in mind, vision in mind, and the implementation in mind, if ICANN had a vision in mind, SASHA or Sarva Shanti Ayog's idea was to use the marketplace as a playground to deliver that mission. And the commitment was always too small and meaningful. So the idea was never to scale up in that proportion. The idea was always the commitment to meaningful and small intervention and what the community wants rather than what we want. We've always gone to the community and come back with ideas that okay, this needs to be done. And the SASHA business model is founded on fair trade. A lot of people must know about fair trade. And I think the export figures of the past decade at SASHA has a very optimistic, we have been growing. SASHA has been growing. There was a time between 2007 and 2011 when it grew over 25%. And then I think there was a plateau. Of course, there was an international recession, but it did not affect us so much as it affected a lot of organizations because we already had started working with mainstream customers as well, mainstream ethical customers like French Connection, who wanted to work with organizations like us rather than focusing only on fair trade businesses.
We have a little thing token of our gratitude for your participation. Any last minute questions? We know we've run out of time, but since that happens every time. Anything last minute you want to know? And those who are working with SASHA or plan to work with SASHA and present in today's class, please stay back because somehow you've not connected. They have no knowledge that you've signed up.
We didn't receive any emails. I'll just check with my colleague, she said.
Okay, I think Julien had a question.
How do you face the competition with other retailers?
In fact, we actually joke within our organization that the development organization is creating competition for the business organization because we are working with SASHA-like organizations supporting them. So, in organizations like SASHA, the best way to address competition